morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told out of PTCGRadio. So today, we need to look at another amazing rare Pokemon. You see, I showed you amazing rare Rayquaza just probably about an hour ago at this stage. And now we've got amazing rare Jirachi, and this one is good. I told you that I was underwhelmed about amazing rare Rayquaza, and I meant it. I stand by it. I'm an honest person. Try to be any road. Amazing rare Jirachi is really good, and I expected to see a huge amount of play. I know not everyone agrees with me, but I feel confident this is one of those times I will be proven right. Let's take a look, shall we? Quick reminder, as always, our translation comes from the lovely Antoine Boulet, but really here, we need to remind ourselves there is nothing special about amazing rare Pokemon. They don't give up extra prizes. They're not limited in any way in terms of deck construction. They are like any other Pokemon. They just look awesome and are really rare. So Jirachi has 70 HP, which is low, but it's what we expect. It's what the Jirachi from Team Up had, for instance. We'll be mentioning that one again. We've got a retreat cost of 1, which is huge because of U-turn board, and we will be needing U-turn board. Gives you free retreat. Well, it reduces it by 1, but it gives Jirachi free retreat. And it bounces back to your hand when it gets discarded. It's phenomenal with this Pokemon. Resistance to grass is largely irrelevant. I have seen Rillaboom V Max seeing a lot more play lately as I've been grinding for the Players' Cup. But then again, I've met it in the final of a tournament at one point. But I will also tell you that they're getting a one-hit KO anyway, so don't worry too much about it. Weakness to fire, again, I could tell you about Welded X and all of that, but it doesn't really matter. You've got 70 HP. But you are a metal Pokemon, which means you can use Metal Saucer to accelerate energy. Now, you can use all kinds of stuff like Metal Goggles to reduce damage done to you, but again, you've only got 70 HP. Maybe if you use Metal Goggles and combine it with Lucario and Melmetal to give yourself an effective HP of 130, maybe then we're talking. But generally speaking, it's not going to make a huge amount of difference. But the ability, oh my word, the ability is going to make a huge amount of difference. The ability says, once during your turn, if this is your active Pokemon, this is starting to sound familiar, you may look at the top 2 cards of your deck, put one in your hand, and put the other one back on top of your deck. It's great. It is absolutely phenomenal. Now look, we can't really get much further into this video without looking at the obvious comparison to the Jirachi from Team Up. The Jirachi from Team Up lets you look at the top 5 cards of your deck. 5 is a lot more than 2. Find a trainer card, put it in your hand, and Jirachi goes to sleep. Here are 2 gigantic reasons this is better than the one from Team Up. Number 1, this gets you anything. It gets you a Pokemon, it gets you an energy, or it gets you a trainer. There are plenty of times what we're really doing with Jirachi is trying to find a trainer to get us a Pokemon card or energy. This will just do it. Not all the time, but a lot of the time. Secondly, you don't go to sleep. Remember, a skateboard is rotating out, which means that Team Up Jirachi, you use the ability, it's a great ability, then you go to sleep. And then what? Now, I've had a whole bunch of people telling me things like, look, just play 4 Scoop Up Net and 4 Switch. And that'll work, incidentally. But that is a lot of space in your deck. One of the things that I have suggested might end up working quite nicely is using something like U-turn board here, but then using Galarian Rapidash so that you cannot be affected by special conditions, so you don't go to sleep. But any of these things I'm telling you about now, they're awkward, ladies and gentlemen. They are a pain. They take lots of space in your deck, or it's a weird combo. It's not the same as using Team Up Jirachi and just attaching an escape board and going. That makes Team Up Jirachi super awkward. This, you just whack on a U-turn board. And Tool Scrap has been reprinted. Even if your opponent plays Tool Scrapper to get rid of U-turn board, you just reattach it next turn. Even if they use Tool Scrapper and then use something like Marnie or Reset Stamp to put it back into your deck, it's still in your deck. Sure, you might have to find it, but it's still there. It's still available for use later. That's why I get so gosh darned excited about this ability. It can grab any card, and you can just use U-turn board to use this over and over again in a way you just can't with Jirachi, the one from Team Up. So we love that you can get any kind of card, not a trainer, and we love that in a world where a skateboard is rotating out, you don't have to put yourself to sleep in order to use this ability. Make no mistake, those two facts are absolutely huge. Now, here's the downside. It is only 2 cards, and the other one goes back on the top of your deck. So clearly people are going to try and do stuff like using Switch and Scoop Up Net, plus, just manually retreating because of U-turn board, to use multiple Jirachi in a turn, and that is going to work. But remember that if you use a Jirachi and then immediately use another Jirachi, you'll look at the top 2 cards of your deck, but one of them you will know what it is. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but the fact of the matter is there are so many ways you can search your deck at the moment, it's really not a big deal. I mean, if you're really that worried, right, play Turffield Stadium. Because Turffield Stadium lets you search your deck for an evolved grass Pokemon and then shuffle your deck. So if you really want to use multiple Jirachi but you're worried about putting the same card back on top of your deck, use Jirachi, search your deck with Turffield Stadium, use another Jirachi, job's a good un. I think this is phenomenal. I struggle to understand how people can look at how good the Jirachi from Team Up has been and not realize how good this is. Now, bearing in mind, let's take another example. Let's take Oranguru. Oranguru was a basic Pokemon that sat on your bench and drew until you had 3 cards in your hand. It was a phenomenal card that saw a huge amount of play, and generally speaking, right, you would be lucky to draw 2 cards of Oranguru. Most of the time you draw 1, occasionally 2, when you were really lucky you draw 3. Here, you're drawing a card, except you get to choose from one of 2 cards. So it's better than just drawing a card. And we don't get basic Pokemon that draw a card. We see stuff like a Alolan Sandslash, a stage 1 that draws a card. And we see stuff like Sawsbuck, the more recent version of it, a stage 1 that lets you draw a card. We don't see basic Pokemon draw. I mean, another example, right? Oranguru at the moment, I know another one of them, the one from Sword and Shield, sees a huge amount of play because it lets you swap a card in your hand for the top card of your deck. And people basically use it to draw a card, but you have to put a card back from your hand to the top of your deck, which is awkward. In what world is this not phenomenal? The only real counter-argument I see against this is, dude, I'm already playing the one from Team Up and I intend to keep doing so. In which case, brilliant, good on ya. For a year. And then that one rotates out. Then what? Because by that point, everyone else is already going to have bought these amazing rare Jirachi. And also, the rarity of this could become a problem. I see this as being an absolute staple in a huge amount of decks. And if we are talking, one amazing rare every 2 boxes, we have no idea about rarity, all right? We really don't. But if they are really rare, this could get really silly really quickly. Yes, I know you only look at the top 2 cards of your deck. I don't care. I am picking the best card from the top 2 cards of my deck, and with multiple Jirachi, I can do it multiple times per turn, and I can get it in and out the active easily in a way which the Jirachi from Team Up just doesn't do anymore. I'm sorry, I think this ability is out and out phenomenal. And we just got 9 minutes in, I haven't even told you about the attack yet. Now, like all amazing rares, it is for free energy, psychic, fighting, metal. And what you do is you choose up to 7 basic energies from your deck and attach them to your Pokemon in any way you like. Now, really, this is a +4 energies, alright? You're not really getting 7 energies, because you've got to put 3 onto Jirachi in order to make it work. And let's be serious for a second, Jirachi's got 70 HP, you're going down. So, yes, I know it says get 7 energies, and that sounds amazing, and it is. Do bear in mind it's really +4 energies, not +7. And the attack cost here is super awkward. Like, proper job over the top, how am I ever going to pay that awkward? The good news is, being a metal Pokemon, you've got Metal Saucer, which will pay the metal. And actually, if you're behind on prizes, Karate Belt will work here. I can see this working in a way that I cannot see the attack of Rayquaza working. Because if I'm behind on prizes, Metal Saucer, Karate Belt, Attach an Energy, could be a Psychic Energy, but this one, it doesn't matter what kind of energy it is, so it could be something like an Aurora Energy, if you didn't want to play Psychic as well. And then all of a sudden, you can actually be playing a deck that's only playing Metal Energy and a couple of Aurora, and you're paying the attack cost here. And then you're getting 7 basic energies out. Imagine how much a Zacian deck is going to want 7 energy out. Or a Copperaja deck is going to want 7 energies out. Now, you can get any kind of basic energy you like, but please do bear in mind, you've got to pay it with a Psychic Fighting Metal. So even though you can pay it with that, and then get a bunch of Darkness energy out for Eternatus, how often are you going to be able to get Psychic and Fighting and Metal on it in a Darkness deck? Yeah, sure, it remains technically possible. But it's going to be extremely difficult. And this is a really awkward attack, right? Make no mistake about it. This is a phenomenally awkward, over-the-top, annoying attack. If you can get this working, it is absolutely ridiculous. But if you can get it working, becomes a rather large part of the equation here. There are going to be way too many times you can't get this working, and that is going to be a problem. I love that you've got Metal Saucer. I love that you've got Karate Belt. Remember, Karate Belt is just reduce your attack cost by 1 fighting if you're behind on prizes. Doesn't have to be for a fighting Pokemon. So I do think this can work. If you play in a metal deck, I do think this attack can work. You have to play Karate Belt, but you can just play 1 or 2 and search them out. Remember, Guzma and Hala will search them out quite nicely. Or Adventure Bag. So, you know, we've got plenty of options. Although it is worth noting Adventure Bag will be rotating. So maybe not the best example. We've got that Greedent. I don't think anyone's going to play it, but we've got it. So look, the attack cost is super awkward. And I do think Jirachi's got a better chance than most because of Metal Saucer, could a Karate Belt. Even with those 2 cards, it's getting awkward. But what about in a Porygon Z deck? Remember that Porygon Z has the ability to let you attach as much special energy from your hand as you like during your turn. So maybe Porygon Z can use a bunch of energy here that's special, and then Jirachi searches out your basic. But then you've got to be playing enough special energy to make it worth playing Stage 2 Porygon Z, and enough basic energy to make it worth getting out of the deck with Jirachi. I'm not sure I see this attack working. I think if you can get this, if you can fire this attack off once, it's over the top. You will basically set up your entire deck in one attack if you can get this working. And that is a gigantic if. But if you can, you will, and that's awesome. Actually, I should mention quickly, there is a nice combo here with Rayquaza Amazing Rare. Rayquaza Amazing Rare, remember, you discard all the basic energy attached to it, do 80 damage for each type of energy discarded, and I told you in the video that was way too awkward to get rolling, and it is, incidentally, but if you can get Jirachi rolling, which is a mission in and of itself, I grant you, then you can actually power up 2 Rayquazas really nicely to essentially be doing 320 damage each when you attach a 4th to another, the second one. One gets 3, one gets 4, but then your attachment for the turn makes them both have 4. That could work if you can get Jirachi rolling, which is really difficult. Sorry. But I just want to go back to the ability for a minute. This ability is just over the top phenomenal. It's ridiculous. It's great. It's over the top. I've seen a bunch of people already looking at this and going, oh, it's rubbish compared to Jirachi. It's never going to see any play. But Team Up Jirachi is really awkward with the sleep post-rotation. And if there was a Pokemon that just drew a card, we would kind of love it. No, to be fair, having said that, we do have the Ordino from Unified Minds, which does draw a card if it's in the active, and that hasn't seen much play. But that's 1 card rather than the best from 2. No, I still love this Jirachi, and maybe I'll be proven wrong. I've been wrong about stuff before. I told you both the Incineroar GXs were going to be amazing, and I didn't learn my lesson from the first one. The second one let me down too. I might be wrong about this, but I'm giving this 5 wussies. I adore the attack, but I think it's so awkward you'll almost never get to use it. But I think this ability is going to see a huge amount of play, and I absolutely love it. But I'd like to know what you think. So let me know in the comment section. Go nuts, me nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at @TheWassy, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all kinds of good stuff, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio, where you can do exactly that. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.